Hello to anyone who may be watching this. This is Bible Know How. And in today's video, it's pretty heavy. I want to jump right in without wasting too much time and just talk about it. You know, when someone cares about you and love you, that person will warn you about things that are harmful. When a person doesn't care about you, they will let you go right into danger and they'll let you jump right into it without a care in the world. We do this as humans all the time when it's something we care about or someone we care about. Those that you don't care about, you don't give it a second thought. You're just like, whatever, they can do whatever they want to do. Everybody has free will. Honestly, we shouldn't be that way, but we as humans, we can be that way. And you know, our God, our God corrects us because he cares about us. In fact, it's actually a scary thing. It's a scary thing if God does nothing and he just delivers a person over to depravity. I want to read something from Romans chapter 1, verse 28, and I want to show you just that. Romans 128, it says, and because they did not think it worthwhile to acknowledge God, God delivered them over to a corrupt mind so that they do what is not right. So, the Bible says, excuse me, something in my eye. The Bible says God delivered them over to a corrupt mind, which is synonymous with depravity. So let that sink in. God delivered them over, meaning God just, it's like he just wiped his hands of it. You know, when God gives a person over, there is nothing no longer standing in the way. Let that sink in for a minute. When God says, I'm done, there's nothing standing in the way. There's no restrainer. God is no longer stopping evil from completely overtaking that person, you know? There's nothing left to stop that person from total depravity once God has given that person over. And when a person is to the point of total depravity, no amount of evil is off limits for that person. You know, if you can think of it, whatever a human is capable of doing, not only can that person, they will when given the right opportunity. When someone has been given over to total depravity, there is nothing that's going to stand in their way. I mean, God's not even going to stand. Well, if God is protecting another person, he may stand in their way. But what I'm trying to say is God is no longer going to intervene. And go back to the book of Job and you see how God, he only allowed the devil to do so much in Job's life. He only allowed him to do so much harm. Well, when God has given a person over, there's nothing to say to God. He just may, you know, when the devil says he wants to do something to a person, when God has completely given that person over, then it could be that God says, you know, he's all yours. That's a scary state to be in. And I don't want that for nobody. And I think that's the worst state a person could ever find themselves in, total depravity. You know, a person that becomes totally depraved, they could end up being taken over by the devil like Judas. And everybody knows how that story ended. But if not for God, and I say that because thankfully, God is still on the throne and God is still in control. So even if a person is given over to total depravity, if God, says that person is allowed to do a certain thing, that's the only way that person's going to be able to do it. But yeah, when a person's given over to total depravity, it's, unless that person repents, they have a dark place waiting for them. So that's what I want to talk about today. Giving over to depravity. It's not really a light subject. There's no easy way to talk about it. But here's the hoping that everybody will avoid total depravity, and you avoid total depravity by seeking the Lord every day. If you have not, then give your life over to the Lord, surrender to Him and live for Him. That's how you can avoid being depraved. And here is to hoping that everybody will have a great rest of their day, and take care, everyone.